I'm going to give you some of the keys here. First of all, I've read all the doctrines and the traditions. I'm at 12,000 books right now. So I don't think anyone can come neck and neck with what I understand about this. Okay. But in the Arabic text, they have a specific scripture and it says, Udu billahi minal shaitan rajim. And what it says is basically, God, protect me from the whispers of shaitan. So this time I got a chance to see and really hear more than anything, and then also feel who this shaitan really is. And what I did is I just gave it another name, and I call it the whisperer. See, when you started talking to yourself, okay, and this was a long time ago, was the first time this voice started talking to you. So that way, after 10 or 15, 20, 30, 40 years, you can't even tell the difference between this thing's voice and your voice. Not to mention there's a few other sub-programs running, but this one's the prime. Because
and echoes and reverb that's coming off of all of that. Yeah.
and it's always got some specific, it always comes in with division. So this is how I saw it, right? So at that 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning that I was telling you, I had the trap set up. Okay. Meaning my mind was so clear, and I was feeling the program attempt to worm its way into my aura. You see? So to basically just try to stay blank in a certain tense, unmovable, is hard. And I realized why. Our talking, hear what I'm saying, our talking for the whisperer is breathing for the whisperer. So if you don't talk, and I'm talking about in your mind, it can't breathe. So it's like it's holding its breath. So it's trying to do anything that it can to get you to talk. And many people experience this in the meditation. They get this thing, and it depends on how far you progress. If it's just beginning for you, it's like still shit. I can't believe I dropped the trash this morning. I got to clean all that stuff up when I'm getting home. And you're just trying to get a clear state of mind. If you progress a little bit further, then it's saying, hey, are you going to be on time later on for that meeting? But if you progress a little bit further, it's going to say, hey, are we supposed to not be talking while you're meditating? And if you progress a little bit further, it's just going to be there, and you're going to feel it trying to worm into your consciousness. And here's why. When you shut up, you literally stop up all of the holes that all the energy is coming in and out of you. It's not just coming out of you. It's also coming in. People need to understand that too. We're not talking about evil or good here. We're talking about if you shut up for a minute.
No, it's chatter. It doesn't have it's back and forth. It's almost like babble. It's not really focused.
Exactly. Or it can take quite a malevolent connotation where it's literally telling you that, hey, this person you need to...
it wants to fuck up your meditation, basically. That's what it's doing.
On an every moment basis.
I know. So I've been there.
So what happened is that when this thing ran across, it was like I had paint on the floor. And once it got the paint on it, then I could see it. So now no longer can it ever talk to me, but it was very clear to me how it was talking to everyone else. And in fact, the moment that it can't talk to you anymore, it wants to talk through other people. And this becomes weird because what I realized is that where does this come from? This is a part of the primordial state of consciousness. This is where that old king really resides. This is where the dweller actually lives. It lives in our consciousness. This is why they were saying it's an eidolon. It's going to be the toughest trial for man ever because it doesn't exist like a physical being like the dragon used to. So you can just go and slay that, or whatever external creature you think is the problem, you can go and slay that externally. No, this one's in the mind. And it's not you. Here's the other thing. Like, people need to realize that this being is a very complex thought form, and it resides within so many states of consciousness, and it will not let you out the bottom of the triangle. Listen to what I'm saying. This is the being that's on the top of the lower triangle. Okay. And this is why it can claim, and it's the Lord of all the Masons. all the people who practice the occult, they are in league with that being, because it is that being that told them about what they know and told them, hey, you need to get ahead. Look, you're here on your own, and you got these group of brothers with you. You need to do whatever you can for you and your family. See, that's the whisperer. People should not underestimate this being, because it's quite crafty. It is the king of the craft. And remember, its whole job is to never let a person out of the bottom pyramid. So what happens is, first you got to build up enough energy to even get the old consciousness out of the bottom area. And then while you're doing that, you have to be able to shut the mind off into the point where the energy goes up into the top half. And then you start using your imagination to be communicating. And then the last piece here is, and this is the whole key to manifestation, once you get the imagination going and it starts, I mean, you can see this stuff as clear as day. Like, I'm going to reveal a little bit more about how to get into these stages, because quite frankly, brother, some shit's broke, meaning that our consciousness doesn't get onto the level that it needs to get, because the firing, the synopsis between our neurons or whatever they call it, is not firing properly.
Yeah, right.
But let me show you what happens to these occult people. See, what happens is that when they get face to face with the whisperer, they can choose to become the whisperer. They can choose to become that eye on the top of the pyramid. And this is why it becomes so enticing, because they can still rule over everything in the lower world, but they can't get to the higher triangle. So that's why the last phase is the most dangerous phase, because this is what the Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane was really about. Satan's like, hey, wait, I give it all to you if you want it all. Because how many people actually get to that point? 1% of 1%. So let me show you how this whisperer works. The 1% of the 1% actually can hold the energetic potential, or the degree that is necessary for, quote unquote, Lucifer to incarnate itself. You see? Okay, so let me let you understand this. See, what we are outside the bodies, we have immense power. So these disincarnates also already have immense power. They just can't get into the bodies. If they try to get into a body, they drive it crazy, because their energetic potential is too high. So they're forced to share themselves across 300,000-400,000, even 1 million, like what the Jesus is, which is Constantine's Eidolon. He can share himself across millions of people, but he can never put himself into one person. So he can't incarnate. So the new knowledge that's coming through is saying, man, they've been trying to get themselves in a condition, people in condition, or certain people in condition in the physical bodies, to be able to harness an entity. Okay? But think about what you're talking about. You see,
this is sort of like an avatar type situation.
Exactly. It's
where the body can't handle the energetic of the entity that wants to. Got it.
Exactly. And so then if the body is prepared, okay, then there's a potential. And this is why now here's how tricky it is. You actually have to be able to hold the higher current to get yourself out of this. But when what you run the risk of is, when you're holding the higher current, is someone trying to hijack your vehicle. You see what I'm getting? You see what I'm getting to here? This is what I was saying. It's a sticky situation, because you're like 1% of 1%.